this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And so, seriously, are immigrants taking jobs from Black Americans?
Black people. What's happening with the black population is they're losing their jobs to the people that are pouring across the border. The black population is being decimated. You wait till you see the real numbers that come. They're losing their jobs because Biden and Harris are allowing millions of people to come into our country, and they're taking black people's jobs, African American jobs. They're taking those jobs, and a lot of those jobs are Hispanic jobs too.
Okay, so this is what I call fear-mongering. And fear-mongering works better with Black Americans than it does with anybody. Just about anybody can scare Black Americans over anything. And I'm talking about a certain segment of the Black American community that does not want to take instruction, they don't want to listen, they don't want to learn, and then when they crash and burn, they blame it on somebody else. And I'm going to speak as someone who worked in the American educational system for over 30 years, over 35 years. Black American students are the most difficult students to teach in the school environment. Black people who want their children to have a chance at a decent education very often have to sacrifice to send their children to a private school because the public school that they're zoned for is a failing school. The children graduate from elementary school reading on a second grade level, graduate from middle school reading on a fourth grade level, and graduate from high school reading on a 6th or 8th grade level. And that is not because the teachers are bad. These teachers are certified and highly qualified. They can be going to state-of-the-art schools. But their behavior is so disruptive, and the black parents, many black parents will not cooperate with the schools. You can have a PTA meeting, and if you have 25 black parents to show up at that meeting, you're doing well. You can have a parent-teacher conference. They won't come to the conference, but if their child goes home and tells them something that some teacher said or some teacher did, they come to the school raising hell. Now, all of this goes into whether or not you're going to be employable in the future. We can talk about systemic racism all we want to. Systemic racism means it's systemic. It's in the system. So all black people can be affected by it. Yet and still, there are many black people who can work the system and succeed. And every successful black person is not a sellout, not a bootlick or a boule. They are just people who can read the room and understand the assignment and know if I want my life to change, I'm going to have to be the change that I want to see. No black person owes other black people their ambition or their ability to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps and hit the ground running to make their lives successful. Nobody owes you that. And people can get on these social media platforms and talk about you and call you all kinds of names and pick at you and bully you all they want to. You don't owe them your life. And what is very disturbing about many black Americans is that the ones who don't want to put in the work, want to cry racism or somebody did something to them or somebody wouldn't give them something that they were supposed to give them. Black people have got to grow up. America is a very sophisticated economy. There are all kinds of jobs, all level of jobs, from the lowest paying minimum wage jobs to the highest paying CEO jobs where people sit up in an office and make millions of dollars while somebody else does all the work. Your level of understanding, your level of education, your work ethic, your ability to fit into a work culture depends on what kind of job you're going to get in this economy. It does not always depend on your race. As some people love for black people to think, I didn't get that job because I'm black. Well, you might not have got the job because you weren't qualified for it. There are opportunities that black Americans are not taking advantage of. Because in some of these schools, and I know that's true down here in these southern schools, the high schools have technology centers where children, especially those children who are coming out of impoverished environments, can get a skill in high school. The schools are even networking with companies where when these young people graduate from high school, they can go into an apprenticeship where they can advance into well-paying jobs. And do you know that about a third of the students, and we're talking about students who are not going to go to college, but do you know that about a third of them won't even take advantage of that? Now, who do you think is going to be a menace to society in the future? They won't take advantage of those opportunities. They won't go to the military. They won't go into an industry to work. These things need to be addressed too. But let me get back to Donald Trump, a real estate mogul turned media personality in the form of a reality TV show host turned politician. In his present reincarnation, he is a politician. Before now, Donald Trump has cared nothing about black people and in fact has shown disdain for black people, saying very unflattering things about black people to let you know he had no respect for black people. Now all of a sudden he is courting black people in his political reincarnation because he has learned that black Americans are the Democrats' most loyal voters. So he knows if he can peel off about 15 or 20% of black voters from the Democrats, he might win the presidency of the United States. So that's why he's got this fear-mongering going on about immigrants taking away black people's jobs. Black jobs. We differ, black Americans, we differ when it comes to whether or not there's any such thing as black jobs. There used to be jobs that black people overwhelmingly did. They were menial, labor-intensive jobs where you made minimum to below minimum wages. That is not the case now, based on anything I can eyeball and see, and or based on the research that I do. So the economists say there is no such thing as black jobs, and immigrants are not taking black people's jobs. I have stated, and I truly believe this, that black people squander a lot of opportunities if they say they can't get a job. I don't know anybody out of work. Now, I know there may be around me where I live, around here in the Southeast. They have a very low unemployment rate for black and white people. Now, what someone that I know that works for the Department of Labor said in Alabama is that there is an uptick of employment with immigrants in the construction business, some manufacturing jobs, and also in landscaping. They work with builders, they can lay floors, they do plumbing, they do electrician work, roofing. They do work that has to be done in a house. They can do that, and then they do landscaping. Now, primarily, that is what you see. You have to be skilled to be a plumber or an electrician or a house painter, jobs like that. Now, there are black Americans who are doing those jobs and they have their own business. And some of them actually hire immigrants because they say, what? That brothers are not reliable. That's what they say. So this whole idea about immigrants taking black jobs really has to be studied. And I believe that it's a mistake just to fall for that because somebody wants to be elected president. Now, I'm going to close by saying I would never vote for Donald Trump myself. But for those who do vote for Donald Trump, I think you're right to exercise your right to vote for whomever you want to vote for. As for me, my life is not going to change regardless of whether Donald Trump or Kamala Harris wins. It really won't. Because my husband and I planned as we worked toward retirement, we planned how we wanted our lives to be. So we wouldn't have to be dependent on who's in the White House. We depend on who's in our house. So I say everybody vote their conviction and let the best person win, because I'm not losing sleep over any of it. So anyway, let us not fall out with each other about this, because whichever one of them wins, somebody is going to be unhappy. The best way for you to insulate yourself against these fear mongers and against whoever wins is that you prepare for your own life, build your own portfolio. And that way, whether Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde wins, you can go in your house, close your door, and say, better luck next time. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Have a good evening, and don't forget to leave a comment.